Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this weekend of this time. Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. The focus of this weekend is songs dealing with the topic of suicide and with the goal of suicide prevention. I've been thinking since yesterday's song, which really struck me as being incredibly well designed for its purpose. How it is that music really gives us the tools to tackle some of these incredibly difficult topics, some taboo topics, and especially rock music, which kind of was born out of breaking taboos. It's such a great way to get us to look at the hard questions and the hard issues that are such a part of the world that we live in, and such an important part of our awareness, and yet we don't always know how to approach them or how to discuss them. Music gives us a way in. So today's song is the Verve Pipe and the song The Freshmen from 1997. Let's see what it has to say. Also starts very gently, a little bit more harmonically tense in places.
She a punk who rarely ever took advice. Now I'm guilt-stricken, sobbing with my head on the floor, stopping baby's breath and a shoe full of rice. No, can't be held responsible. She was touching her face. I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen.
You know, it's interesting to notice both the similarities and the differences between yesterday's song and this song. Yesterday I commented on how it has this gentle acoustic sound. There's the gentle arpeggiated accompaniment, plucked notes. There's that warm bass line, gentle bass line, all of those things that made it so soothing and comforting and supportive sounding. There is the solo voice, which in yesterday's song was really reaching out and looking to connect with the audience. Here we have kind of the same elements, don't we? But already they give a different feel, even at the beginning with the broken chord accompaniment, the guitar. I said it's kind of the same plucked feeling, but there is a slight bit of unease, tension to it. And we have the same warm bass. Maybe not quite so warm. It's a little more bassy bass. Dum, 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 dum. But still, it even has a similar rhythm. Dum, 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 bum, 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 bum. This one has a little bit more movement, a little bit quicker tempo. At least it feels that way. We feel, and even the delivery of the lyrics is less long legato, soothingly song melody, and more. When I was young, I knew everything, and she, a punk who rarely ever took advice. It's a more of a a little bit more rapid delivery of the lyrics. Even the pace at which it's going through the scenes is a bit quicker. It's not dwelling so much on a particular message that is being delivered, like yesterday's song, the refrain, the chorus, was being sung multiple times. Here, we're moving a bit more quickly. Now, the real difference between the two is it shows up in the singers. Yesterday's singer, we talked about that. Today's singer, this is more of a confession type delivery, inward looking. Yesterday it was reaching outwards, looking to connect, looking to lift someone up, give them a hand, help them out of that dark room. Here, this is me sitting in this place that I am, and I am. It's a sort of confessional. I'm telling you my experience, my thoughts, my sins, my life story, or my refusal to accept certain parts of my life story.
Never die for these sins, we were merely freshmen.
Some drums in there, a little bit. So these drums here, they're the strong strike is happening at different points in the beat, and it's throwing us off. It's giving us a little bit of nervousness, tension. Already we have several things creating a tense feeling in this song. We have the little bit quicker pace. We have the confessional rhythmic delivery of the lyrics. We have the harmonic scheme, which is not quite so warm and embracing as yesterday. And now we have these drums.
We were merely freshmen. My best friend took a week's vacation.
Throws you off a little bit, doesn't it?
This girl took a week's worth of Valium and slapped him. Now he's
it's not exactly relaxing or soothing or comfortable.
Thanks about knowing how he never really wept, he said. Can't be held responsible. She was touching her face. I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me, I cannot remember.
The guitar comes in here.
That we were wise and we never compromised. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen.
It almost has a little bit of a militaristic kind of, should I say, war movie soundtrack feel. It's the kind of music that you hear in a movie dealing with some war scene or similar type story. When things are moving along and you know it's not going to be okay, but there is this progress forwards, and at the same time there's this feeling of we don't want it to be this way, and here we are, we find ourselves here, and we find ourselves doing this, and we find ourselves part of this, and it is all not okay. And it's interesting to notice that that is the same type of musical effects that is being used here. The inevitability, the drive, the inescapability that the rhythm brings in, the drums bring in, and the pace that is chosen for this, which is neither terribly fast nor terribly slow, but it is also rather relentless. It doesn't let up. All of this combined with the story that he's singing and the way he's delivering it, the intensity, the pent up, confused emotions that are being expressed through his voice and through his manner of delivery. It's not being sung. He's not singing it in a way that's just screaming, raging, or anything like that. It's more subdued. There is this sort of disbelief about it in the way he's delivering it. At the same time, there's this pent up fear and frustration, which you hear, especially when he gets to a line like, which one was it? Thinks about her now and how he never really wept. And you hear as he starts more towards the harder voice there, it hits you really hard because he's not singing in that voice all the way through. And so when he does make use of that, it's very powerful and focused in what he is communicating there.
Made us think that we were wise and we never compromised. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins.
We were merely freshmen. Such a great delivery of that. And this oh, I gotta go back and hear this because it's coming more and more, and it's working so well to build this tension and dissonance.
And we were wise and we never compromised. For the life of me, I cannot believe
there's anger and confusion and desperation. And in there comes his voice. Oh, that's good. Such great combination of voice and musical motif there, and the tempo and the rhythm and everything is working so incredibly well together to build this tension, and it's palpable. It pulls me into it. We're in that pretty ragged guitar. And there's so much happening right here, actually. There's so much happening because there's this and it goes on and it goes on. Even on its own, it's pretty intense. That in itself is an intense little motif, but it's not the only thing that's happening. It's his voice. There's that ragged guitar bass down in there. And then there's still the broken chord accompaniment, which we've had all along. Everything all together. That moment there, again, I say it's like watching some movie about a war zone. There's the progress across the battlefield. There's all the killing and dying and fighting and then this kind of deadly silence. And then it starts again. Dum, dum, dum. And it's as if we want to get out of here, but we cannot. The only thing to do is keep going forwards. moment.
Tried to wash our hands of all of us. We never talk of our lack in relationships and how we're guilt-stricken, sobbing with our hands on the floor. We fell through the ice when we tried not to slip. We'd say it can't be held responsible, 'cause she was touching her face, and I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me,
And it just
I
comes
cannot
pouring out here.
remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die 40 cents. We were merely freshmen. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die 40 cents. We were merely freshmen. We were merely freshmen. We were only freshmen.
Certainly not the kind of hopeful, soothing, uplifting song as we heard yesterday at all. And it's interesting to notice how, in a piece of music like this, which there were never really any moments of extreme, violent sounding music or extreme depression. And it wasn't what I would call a particularly dark piece of music on its own. Combined, the music and lyrics together, combined with the delivery of the way in which the singer delivered the song, it's incredibly intense and incredibly challenging to really truly listen to and hear what is being sung. It's not an easy piece of music. And well, thinking back to what I said at the beginning and my thoughts since yesterday, it's interesting to me that I was thinking that, and here we are with a piece of music which does exactly that. It gives us the tools to handle an incredibly difficult topic. And it's handling it in a way that I might say is attractive, appealing, meaning it's not portraying this tragic scene as attractive and appealing, but the musical experience itself, because it's not too terribly dark, it's not too heavy, it's not too much of this or that. If you simply listen to the music on its own, it is quite exciting. It is quite the tension that exists in the music, the rhythmic drive, and the way it keeps going on relentlessly. There is something exciting about it. There is something engaging, something that pulls you into it and doesn't want to let you go. Even though it's so different. And this is not one of those rock pieces which imitates or borrows from Ravel's Bolero, but I would say it is very similar in its design, meaning it builds and it builds and it builds. And once the drums enter and that rhythm enters, it's serving a similar role as Ravel's Bolero drum rhythm serves. And then the way the music continues building, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, and intensifying. And there becomes this wildness, this desperation, this looking for escape, an inability to escape. And the music just carries you on and channels you through. It is attractive, especially to the young people to which it is speaking. So it is, I could say, a cautionary tale, something that gives them the tools to, it gives them a vehicle, a way of talking about, or at least thinking about, listening to something on this topic, and recognizing that even freshmen, even in that young point in your life, and perhaps especially so, that point in your life which should not be filled with such tragedies and such responsibilities and such inescapable, life-altering events. That is a time at which you're incredibly vulnerable and incredibly likely to face just such a situation. And so it is a song which demands recognition of that vulnerability, and calls us all to be aware of the incredibly vulnerable stage of life that is those young years, kind of halfway between childhood and adulthood, where things are not settled and life is confusing and choices are made on impulse rather than reason. And we can't really blame them, but still the danger exists. And this song is begging us all to help those young people through that period of life. And it's also saying these things are happening. They're happening. And something needs to be done about it. But one of the things that I find interesting here is this line, I won't be held responsible. I won't be held responsible. I won't be held responsible. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen. And then again, I won't be held responsible. You might say that it's a denial of the facts, but on the other hand, there is a truth to it. Because coming back to this idea of who is to blame, where does the guilt lie? Or is it about guilt? Should we be casting blame? And should we be blaming the victims and the ones in the situation which are not equipped? They were not equipped and they are not equipped to handle the life that they find themselves living in. It is unfair to hold them responsibility. They may live with the consequences for the rest of their life. They may feel the weight of it and the pain of it. But it is unfair to blame them. And so there is so much brought into this. I don't perceive this as being a refusal to accept responsibility that is rightfully owned. I don't see it as that. I see it as more a cry against the way life has conspired, and our impulses and instincts and our desperation has brought us to this point, and these things have happened, and it's unfair, it's not right, and I recognize that I shouldn't be the one responsible for this, and yet here I am I find myself in the position of responsibility. It's this desperation and entrapment, which the music beautifully, powerfully conveys. And so again, we have this weekend, I have heard for the first time 2 incredibly contrasting pieces of music. Very different, not only in their message but in their way of delivery. Both incredibly powerful, both incredibly necessary, tragically necessary. And yet here we are, and this month is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I can't think of a better thing to do than to encourage everyone. Please do what you can for those around you, whether they are your children, your parents, your siblings, any other relatives, your friends, your colleagues, your co-workers, or simply acquaintances. Simply be the best human being you can to those around you, and take care of yourself, because that's the best we can all do. And if we all do our best, I think that we can all help avoid some of these tragedies. And so, a very emotional, intense weekend for me, with some powerful music. It's rewarding for me to experience this and explore it, and I'm looking forward to what comes next. I wish you all a safe and happy week, and I'll see you soon.